And it was big business because the CEO, Mercedes Mone, did make her AEW debut tonight. Now, this is just my opinion. Not everyone's going to have the same opinion, I know. And some people may say that I'm wrong for thinking this, but her debut here tonight, to me, just felt okay. It didn't feel like a big superstar. It didn't feel like, oh my God, this is groundbreaking or changing the business like they may think. It just really felt just all right. It didn't feel all superstar-y. Like, she's a superstar herself, yes, but it didn't feel like, I'm going to say right now, I thought the Will Ospreay debut was bigger. I really did. I thought the Will Ospreay debut was a lot bigger than what we saw tonight for Mercedes Mone. And yeah, why I checked something really fast. Luke, what'd you think of Mercedes debuting tonight for AEW?
Honestly, to me, it felt like they were trying to copy like CM Punk's debut in AEW.
100%.
Have them start off in their hometown and then have them end off the show in their hometown. But yeah,
did Punk
really
open and close that show? I don't remember that. Did he?
I know he opened it.
No, I remember. Yeah, I remember him opening the show. I just don't remember him. Damn it! I just
might have closed it.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I just don't remember him coming out at the end.
But yeah, her opening promo felt very underwhelming as well.
Yes.
Which, I mean, we'll talk about that later. But I mean, her debut was okay, but it felt very underwhelming to me because it was like they didn't really come off like superstar-ish, and to me it just felt like very expected because like everyone knew she was going to be there.
But that was the whole thing. They wanted it to be obvious without having to say it, which in my opinion, I think they should have just said it, or at least said we're getting a big debut next week on the show on the 13th, whatever. I feel like they could have done better. What's the wrestle ticks on this? 6,000, 7,000? I know last time they were. Let's look at wrestle ticks. I know last time they were in this building, the TD Garden, they did over 9,000. Tonight they did. Is this for tonight? That's for next week. Next week they got almost 5,000 tickets sold, which is, yeah, next week's almost sold out in Toronto. Tonight. Okay. Multiple sources have confirmed that AEW Big Business had distributed 9,400 tickets tonight. This would mean that any section I've partially credited it, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. So basically they're saying that they did do over 9,000 tonight, which is good, which is roughly right around probably what they did last time, about 94 to 95. That's not bad. But now here's the question. You do these shows where you debut somebody in their hometown and people are supposed to know it's them and this and that, and it worked. 9,000 for tonight. That's awesome because last week they only did what? 4,000, 4,500 for both Collision and Dynamite together. But here's the thing. Is this going to be sustainable? Are they going to go, and next week in Toronto, they have the big Christian Adam Copeland I Quit match for the TNT title. So again, another show with a big match on it, a pay-per-view caliber match in their hometown. But once we start doing this big match in people's hometown stuff, is it going to sustain? And are we going to go back to just 3,000, 2,000? That's the big question is, where's the ratings going to go for tonight? Are they going to sustain those ratings? And are they going to be able to sustain these attendance numbers? Like next week, I'm looking here on WrestleTix. So this is all from WrestleTix. Next week in the Coca-Cola Coliseum in Toronto, Ontario, Canada, the show is currently set up for 4,964, and 4,697 have been distributed. So a little under 300 tickets still available. That's literally only 500 or 5,000 tickets, and they're going to call it a sellout, even though the whole arena is not being used. But regardless, the question is now, when they get back to these shows where it's just an average Dynamite, how are the numbers going to be? When it's not a specialty loaded up show, when it's just a regular show like last week, which even that should have been considered a special show coming off the pay-per-view. You can't judge this after one night. You just can't. You got to give it time and see where it all does go with both the attendance and the ratings. Because where's Collision this week? Do we know? Well, maybe we should know. I want to see for Collision. I don't see WrestleTix have anything right here for it. I can look where Collision is, but that's going to be the thing. What is the ticket sales going to be? What are the numbers going to be for Collision this week? AEW schedule, events. Collision is going to be, what date is that? In Canada. So we'll see. They're going to be in Ontario, Canada this Saturday for Collision, and then they got like a few weeks where they're going to be in Canada. So they'll be back in the United States on my birthday, April 3rd. I didn't even realize my birthday's a Wednesday. So, yep.
Also, we got a 100-bit donation from Esports Gaming. Says, you know the old saying, more money, more problems, or should we say more money, more problems for AEW?
That's a good one.
Yeah, it's also going to give it time to tell, see how Tony Khan can control Mercedes.
Yeah.
Because we saw how Punk turned out and Tony Khan couldn't control him.
So if we want to still try to compare her going to AEW to CM Punk going to AEW, you know the other big thing that you can compare the two with is that AEW was their second choice. Punk originally in 2020 or whatever it was before the pandemic wanted to go back to WWE, and Vince said no. So then he goes, well, this other company's calling me. They want me. I'll go there instead because they'll take me. So he went to AEW and then eventually got fired from there, went to WWE where he wanted to be. Now we look at Mercedes. Mercedes walked out of WWE. She went and did stuff with New Japan and Stardom. She then had talks with AEW, but the moment there was an opportunity for her to go to WWE late last year, she stopped those talks with AEW and started talking to WWE. WWE reportedly didn't give her exactly what she wanted. They passed on her. And then she's like, okay, Tony, let's go. So now my question here is, because everyone's like, oh, Tony Khan paid her more than WWE was willing to pay her. Tony Khan gave her what she wanted. We don't know that. My big question, what I want to know is, did Tony Khan pay her more than WWE was willing to pay her? Or did WWE walk away from the negotiations because they didn't like what was being negotiated and she had to settle for what Tony Khan was going to pay her and give her? That's the big thing that I want to know. Did she get more money from WWE, or did she have to, or from AEW, or did she have to settle to go to AEW because WWE wouldn't take her? Even though the two sides talk, like, there's got to be something to, she was in negotiations with AEW, cut those to go talk to WWE, and then went back to AEW. That's the whole thing that I want to know. That's the big question and a half. So,
I mean, it's also tough to say at the same time because you saw how much money Tony Khan paid Okada. So
the report of $4.5 million a year, Meltzer said it's big money, but that may be a little bit exaggerated. That number from Tokyo Sports. He said it's big money, but it could be less than $4.5 million. I mean, I would assume he's still getting multi-millions, whether that's 4.5, 3, 2, we don't know. But yeah, Meltzer did state that it's not quite 4.5. Maybe it's just 4. I don't know. But he said the Tokyo Sports number was a little high from what he had heard. But still, he's paying Okada and Ospreay big money. And he's willing to fly Ospreay in from the UK every week.